The Field of 68 opening day showcase rolls on from the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with a much anticipated showdown between two name brand programs with high expectations. It is the A-10 versus the WCC as the St. Louis Billikens take on the Broncos of Santa Clara. Welcome back courtside for game 2 of 3 from Sioux Falls today, alongside Randolph Childress and Rob Doster and our crew. I'm Alex Seinert. This version of St. Louis and Santa Clara expect to be in the NCAA tournament. They are both set up to make a challenge for the big dance this year.
And they should expect it. I think both teams have the talent, and now can that talent meet the expectation is the key. I think on both ends of the floor, we'll see two teams competing at a high level, some high-level basketball, high Q basketball. I want to see if it translates and who team plays better gets the first win. We'll see.
Yeah, both of these teams would list depth and continuity as a big strength, starting with Josh Schertz's Billikens.
Yeah, he's a new coach with a new program with a whole bunch of new players that he got out of the transfer portal. But, oh, by the way, he happens to bring his point guard with him from Indiana State and his 5-in Robbie Avila from Indiana State. Those are the two best players he has on his roster, the two most important positions on the basketball court, and I think we're going to see a result of St. Louis looks like a team that's more closer to midseason form.
I think Herb Sendek and Santa Clara Broncos, I think that he thinks this is the best teams he's had won defensively and add depth to that. But when you got a potential pro in Adama Ball leading this group, can they meet the expectations and challenge Gonzaga in the WCC? We'll see. This is what they're chasing. They expect it. More importantly, they believe it. It doesn't matter when else thing, but they got to take a major step from a resume building of potentially beating a team like the St. Louis Billikens.
Yeah, that chase and that resume building starts right now for Herb Sendek and the Broncos, and for Josh Schertz and the Billikens. It is one of the premier matchups of the new season, and it's coming up next here from Sioux Falls.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansborough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
No? Sure. This is Heritage Court inside Sioux Falls, South Dakota's Sanford Pentagon, ahead of Game 2 in the Field of 68 opening day showcase. St. Louis against Santa Clara in a great mid-major matchup. Randolph Childress, we got a number of legitimate stars to enjoy in this one, but we've got two that stand out among the rest.
Yeah, for St. Louis has got to be Robbie Avila. Just the NIT darling of the postseason a year ago, a dynamic passer, scorer, shoots it inside and out, but his vision as a passer changes the game. And Adama Ball for the Santa Clara Broncos, he's an NBA prospect, 6'7" scorer. Just is taking the step defensively, and it's just jumping off the charts. And there's a couple of pro prospects that we've seen here that's here to see what he does here today.
That ball certainly could be the third Santa Clara product in the last 4 years to hear his name called next summer at the NBA draft. Avila is good a player and as big a personality, Rob, as there is in the college game.
Yeah, and he processes the game so well. What I'm really interested to see is how well they use him as the focal point of their offense. You know, there's scorers on this backcourt for St. Louis. Robbie Avila functions as the point guard. He is the guy that they run their offense through. He is the guy that thinks the game. He's the guy that understands the game at a level that's above what you see out of most college centers.
His addition to this St. Louis team, a big reason why expectations are so high for a squad that finished near the bottom of the A-10 last year.
And Christoph Tilley there in the first possession, defensively did a really good job of trying to extend the catch and created a turnover there as he turns it over again himself. But you got to affect the bigs. When they affect the game the way they can passing the ball, you got to make the catches a little bit tougher. And did a really good job last possession, causing a turnover in the first possession by the Billikens.
Yeah, Randolph, I do think it's interesting on that first possession. They run a ball screen and try to put Avila in the ball screen, and they throw the ball into the post to him. I think it's clear they're going to try to attack him on the defensive end.
That's the game plan. You have to. You have to make him guard both ends, be effective both ends of the floor, because he's going to be a factor on this end of the floor. You got to make him guard.
Kalu Anya, the 6'8 junior guard from Worcester, Mass, who's coming over for after 2 years in the Ivy League with Brown, able to get free inside. As we look at the starters today, beginning with the squad from California, the Santa Clara Broncos. Yeah, it's not just the Dama Alpha ball. This team has got talent up and down the roster. 70% of the team back from a season ago.
Yeah, the Santa Clara team is much more talented than I think people realize. Carlos Stewart coming back as well, transfer from LSU. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they compete in the WCC, as you see Cullen Thames there with a nice finish over Christoph Taylor.
Thames, the 6'6 redshirt sophomore who is from St. Louis. He was the first man off the bench, the sixth man for this Billikens program a season ago, decided to stick around when Josh Schertz came over from Indiana State. On the other end, Adama Alpha ball. He is 6'7", a native of France. A tough man to stop on that end of the floor as we look at the starters for St. Louis. I mentioned Avila, Isaiah Swope, of course, coming over as well from that NIT runner-up team at Indiana State a year ago. Gibson Jimerson, his return, a big reason why this team will be able to hit the ground running this year. Because
he's one of the best shooters in college basketball. And we talked about it earlier, he's chasing a couple of records here. I mean, three-pointers, the all-time three-point shooter in 8-10 is a record he's chasing. And he has an unselfish players that'll help get him the ball.
Christoph Tilly, the 7-footer from Berlin, getting free on the baseline. Johnny O'Neal with the dish. Early three-point advantage for the Broncos. Swope on the drive. Jimerson, a man you have to close out on. Swope, the same vein. Those two elite three-point shooters in the college game, and now an offensive rebounding foul going against Anya.
And what Santa Clara wants to do defensively is they want to protect the paint and then close out. So they want to control things inside first and then get to the shooters. So they're willing to, to give up some threes early, but they want to get there and contest.
This is Carlos Stewart Jr., back by the Bay after that season in his native Louisiana. The three from Bryan off the mark.
When we watched these teams practice yesterday, Adama Alpha ball didn't miss a shot. It looked like, and he's starting out today doing the same.
Well, that's what he can do,
yes.
Randolph. That's what he can do. And part of the reason why he is back in the college ranks right now is because he changed his body in the offseason. They were telling us part of where his development comes from is when the work you do in the summer and the fall and the spring, right? And they didn't have him last summer. He was playing with the U20 team, the French national team. And they said, the coaching staff said they were able to get him in. As you see him drawing a foul right there on the three, that's 2 on Thames, which will be interesting because he's coming in for Kobe Johnson. Kobe Johnson was their starter in the 2 exhibitions that they played, and he hurt his shoulder in practice. I believe it was on Saturday. At this point, it's kind of hard to keep track of what day it actually is. But I do believe it is Monday, correct? It is the first day of the college basketball season. He hurt it on Saturday in practice. He tried yesterday to see if he could be able to give it a go, and I think he wanted to play, but he wasn't able to make it out here.
I think what's so critical about that is they both of those guys are similar in the sense of they're defensive guys. They know they roll. They play off the ball. They do a lot of similar things.
Yes.
But Thame is a bigger body, a more athletic guy, and usually takes the best perimeter guy to guard him. And you're going to miss his size and his length against ball, with his 6'7" frame and the weight, the start that he's gotten off to.
Yeah, Kobe Johnson, 6'4". Previous 3 years at West Virginia, he was a starter for the Mountaineers for much of last season. Not expected to be anything long-term, but not good enough to go today in the opener for the Billikens. Early 5-point advantage for the Broncos. Here is Avila, a Lou Henson All-American last year off to Jimerson. All affected by Tilly and Bryan, but a foul called.
Be prepared to defend those type of actions. That's what you want to do. You can't switch a guard to Robbie Avila. He's just going to roll inside, and he's just going to destroy your guard in the post. So guards, you got to blow up the screens, the dribble handoff, the ball screen. They just got to get through and get back in front of the basketball.
It's going to be interesting to see how he deals with the length of Santa Clara here, because we've already seen he's got one turnover on the backdoor that he missed. The layup at the first possession of the game didn't work all that well for him. As you see Larry Hughes there getting the offensive rebound. And then over here, he had a pass that was tipped as well. So 7-foot Christoph Tilley, he's not used to that kind of size and length and athleticism that you see when he played last season in the Missouri Valley.
But that's where I think his versatility comes in. You saw him early. He'll start on the perimeter and use the ball screens and pop. And let's not forget, he's 39% three-point shooter as well. So he's a versatile offensive weapon.
Brian, the kick out. This is Johnny O'Neal, now in his second season with the Broncos. Tough offensive rebound by Cameron Tung. One of their grind guys off the bench, now a senior from Massachusetts.
And that's a great job there. You want your guys coming from the bench. He outworks Avila for the offensive rebound, then draws the foul on him. And they possess athleticism in their front court that can give Robbie some challenges. And he's going to have to play on both ends of the floor, you know, boxing out and also sliding his feet, because they're going to attack him in ball screens.
It's not surprising that Herb Sendak, who's now in his 9th season with the Broncos, told us this week he's a problem that we're going to have to deal with because he can do so many things well.
You see it now. They're putting him in the corner, and what it does to your rotation. See, now the center is guarding him in the baseline corner three. That's actually his rotation. But because you got a guy that's so good at shooting, you don't want to leave him. And just a great job adjusting there by Coach Schultz.
Swope able to take advantage on the drive. Second team all-conference in the Valley last year.
Wow.
Cameron Tung showing off a little touch inside.
I mean, that's a beautiful lefty hook there.
Herb Sendak called him the consummate warrior, a fantastic team player, as Jimerson hits the side of the backboard but gets his own miss. Another offensive rebound. Anya this time can convert at the 10.
That's what he does. That's what Anya does. He gets to the offensive glass. He's out there for his length and for his athleticism and for his activities. You see him grab another rebound right there.
His athleticism actually complements Robbie Oliver great.
Here's Swope now for three, just off the mark.
You thought he made that? You saw him, Randolph? He thought that was good.
He did. That's a great sign when you're shooting and it feels good. He walked into one. He's definitely can shoot it. You got to get to him early.
Tung inside, over Avila. Cameron Tung off the bench.
It's obvious the game plan is to attack him. You can't let Robbie just control the game on a half court. So on the other end of the floor, they're forcing him to guard.
Tung with 6 points already. 7-point advantage for Santa Clara. Here's Jimerson on the cut. Good ball rotation. Swope got ball to bite. It's the three in the corner for Gibson. Jimerson. Simply put, one of the best in the nation.
I love to see a shooter that starts out, he misses 2 or 3, but when you shoot it as well as he does, just shoot it 2 or 3 times. You don't care if you make it. You know you're going to shoot the next one. I love the confidence.
Jimerson, 3-time All-A-10, one of the top 3-point shooters in the NCAA. The Billikens force the turnover as we head to break. They trail by 5 in the early stages.
This is where we prepare, stretch, challenge, wonder, dream, rise. This is where we find the truth and where we find ourselves.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today.
Santa Clara with the early 5-point advantage over St. Louis in Game 2 of 3 in the inaugural Field of 68 opening day showcase. We've been talking a lot about these two already, Avila and Ball, two of the best at what they do in the nation.
They are. Adama Alpha Ball has come out with a little bit more aggressive offensively. Right now, Robbie Avila's trying to feel how he can be more effective against this, this length and this size.
The big question I have for you, Randolph, if you're Robbie right now and you know that they're going at you, so much of what he does offensively makes St. Louis tick.
Right.
As part of the strategy right now for Herb Sendek, we're going to get this dude tired. They know he's coming off the ankle injury. They know he maybe isn't in prime condition.
Yes.
Is that part of the game plan? That's the plan, right?
You got to wear him down. You got to go at him because you can't allow him. He's so effective on the offensive end. He's just such a part of the Billikens' identity. Yeah. And you got to attack him and you got to make him guard. And again, they're going to keep him in drop coverage. Let's see if they eventually change defenses and maybe go to some type of zone or something to help him as well.
The skip in the corner frees. Elijah Mahi for the triple. The junior from Toronto, one of the top JUCO players in the state of California last year. The coaching staff really loves what he's brought to the table in his first season by the Bay.
He was incredible in their scrimmages. And they talk about him. We just saw him. He's, 6'7". He buried a three from the wing over there. They talk about him as the best passer on the team.
Yes, that's the issue with this team is that they have size. So when they're coming downhill and they're attacking you on ball screens, good deflection there, good rotation to cut off that baseline pass, but they're able to throw over the top and find guys, and with their length, attacking Robbie Avila in the drop coverage, they're going to be able to find the open guy on the weak side.
Here is Avila inside. That's his first attempt from the floor.
He needed that one.
On the bucket.
He needed that one.
Yeah, he needed something positive to happen. He's not forcing anything. He doesn't have to. Wow.
Cameron Tung keeping it rolling. That's 9 now off the bench. He averaged just under 5 a game a season ago. He told us yesterday, I love the Dennis Rodman type role. I'm the agitator. I'm the guy that gets the tough assignments on this end. He's a big reason why Santa Clara has built this 9-point lead.
Well, that's an unexpected quick line, and he has went at Robbie Alaba. Every time he's touched it, either the three ball or even in the post. And
I got to imagine that he wasn't very high on the St. Louis scouting report when what Herbert Sendek said about him was the biggest concern is who's he going to hurt in practice. And now he's out here banging 22-foot threes.
And shooting lefty hook shots.
Here is Swope. Nice dish. Avila inside. That's that Sycamore connection carrying over to this year.
Yeah, it's just a difficult action. It's a ball screen followed by a Spain action back screen. And you got to help on the ball screen. You can't help on the back screen as well with the same defender. And got to figure out how you want to continue to guard that play.
Little heat check that time from Cameron Tungo. Only took 9 threes all of last year. 21-14. Look how quick the Broncos close there on Jimerson. Avila inside, off the glass and in. 6 now for the preseason All-American.
Starting to settle in. He spent a lot of time earlier in the game to start on the three-point line. Now he's finding his way closer to the basket.
That was Brenton Napper. Was a starting point guard for the Broncos at times a season ago. Off the bench this year, unable to connect from deep. Swope cannot finish. Good defense again by Tung and Mahi. And Jake Ensminger, the 6'9 sophomore from Germany. This is Ensminger now for 3, too strong. Larry Hughes the second. The son, of course, of the famous father, the All-American as a freshman for the Billikens back in the late 90s. Pass taken away by Tyree Bryan. Napper in transition. It'll be a block going against the Billikens. Hughes unable to get the feet set, and that will send us to a break with 11:16 left in the first. Billikens down by 5. Avila and company, though, starting to get it going.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Hummel podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
I'm becoming more than just a title or a 4.0.
I see. I wonder.
A dream.
A seeker of truth and beauty. Challenging my mind.
Furthering what I thought I knew.
I question.
I reflect.
I lead.
Creating connection and passion to transform not just me, but my community.
So it becomes more too.
I am. We are.
Together, we become more.
As one of the nation's strongest financial organizations, First Premier Bank and Premier Bank Card have the strength to do good. We support nearly 700 organizations and nonprofits. Our employees give more than 30,000 volunteer hours annually. And we are continually seeking ways to make South Dakota an even better place to live. It's the Premier way. First Premier Bank and Premier Bank Card.
Back here at the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, where Santa Clara leads St. Louis 21-16. Robbie Avila is starting to get it going here with 6 points in the last few minutes. And I'll tell you what, the relationship between Robbie Avila and Josh Schertz is something that you rarely see in college basketball. He followed his coach from Indiana State. It didn't take long for him to make up his mind. He went to a meal at Panda Express. It took him 30 minutes, some orange chicken. He decided, you know what, coach? Wherever you're going, I'm following you. Josh Schertz said, this is a guy that you don't just build an offense around, you build an entire culture around. Robbie Avila, one of the best big men in the country, guys, and we're starting to see it these last couple minutes.
That's my biggest concern with Robbie Avila is he's an orange chicken guy. If you're not getting General Tso's from Panda Express.
No. Orange chicken's where it's at. That's where the big decisions are made, man. What are you talking about?
I knew I couldn't trust you. Hey, Alex, where's the best place to get orange chicken in Sioux Falls?
The best place to get orange chicken in Sioux Falls would be Hy-Vee.
There you go.
And also, I'm more of a honey walnut shrimp kind of guy. 21-16. 5-point advantage for Santa Clara. With a turnover forced. Santa Clara had been taking care of the basketball. It was St. Louis that had been a bit careless with it, with 5 giveaways in the opening 10 minutes. A.J. Casey off the bench now, cannot connect with Josiah Doetzler. Mahi able to take advantage.
He's good, man. He is good. And look, you mentioned the length and athleticism, Randolph. I think we're really seeing that impact on the defensive end right now. That's 6 turnovers for St. Louis. That's not something that you expect out of the Josh Schertz coach team.
Well, they pressured him on the perimeter, and usually teams are concerned with that with Robbie Avila on the three-point line. Santa Clara is pressuring him, making his catches tough. They're showing on those screens, and they're being very disruptive to St. Louis right now on the perimeter. Look at this. They're trying to blow it up, even though there's a foul there. They're chasing them over the top, and they're making these catches and attacks very difficult right now.
Casey, in his first year with the program from Miami, will take a seat.
Part of what helps them with that is their wings are so big. When we're talking about Mahi 6'7", Ball is 6'7".
Tyree Bryan right there is 6'7", 6'8". And, like, those guys aren't – you know how you see some players that are 6'7", and you walk by and they're like, yeah, he's 6'4"?
Yes.
Those guys are 6'7", 6'8".
Legit.
And listed at 6'7", 6'8". I think they do that on purpose.
The only small position, or relatively small position on the floor for them is the point guard. I mean, these wings are massive. These are NBA-sized wings that they're putting on the floor.
Yeah, you say Carlos Stewart is small. He looks like he should be a wrestler.
Napper for 3, just off the mark. Tilly able to collect the loose ball. Last touch by the Billikens. Neither side shooting it great from distance. St. Louis 0 for 5 from behind the arc. Santa Clara 3 of 10. Carlos Stewart back on. Doetzler getting the arm in. Here is Mahi. The kick in the corner to Ensminger. Tilly fouled on the rebounds.
You're starting to see the big advantage of size, too, come into play. And lack of communication on how they wanted to defend that ball screen. They got forced on a switch, and Tilly just did a great job of pushing this defender underneath the rim and grabbing an offensive rebound. But they seem to be bigger across the board right now with length. And
certainly with Avila on the bench, St. Louis doesn't have a true post. Hughes, by the way, picking up his second on the loose ball foul, will go to the bench. Thames has 2. He's in the game as Doetzler saw that pass bounce off his back. The Billikens able to take advantage. Anya sees the seas parts and finishes at the rim.
He's good, man. He can get to the rim like that. That's where he kind of takes advantage of the space that gets created by all of these shooters in the 5-out offense. He's not going to pass it.
Good effort as Thames and Ensminger go crashing into the seats here courtside just next to us. And Jake Ensminger, who was a part of the All-WCC newcomer team a season ago, is shaken up.
yeah, he's trying to shield off Thames there. And
you got a great look at me trying to protect my laptop.
Yeah.
Jake, that's a sore one right there with his back right into the chair. Rob's laptop was just fine, no concern.
Yeah, no concerns there. He'll be able to tweet and email the kids and the wife, let them know everything's okay. He survived a near disaster here. Glad to see NC gets up, walk off.
Avila now back on for St. Louis. The Billikens trailing by 5. Santa Clara basketball. Under 9 to play in Game 2 of the Field of 68 opening day showcase from Sioux Falls. And there's a steal now. Anya in transition. Avila, who could certainly shoot from deep, will hand off to Swope, who can as well. Isaiah Swope, 5'10", the senior from Indiana, will fire and drain from distance.
That's what he can do. He's got range out to 30 feet, and he's not afraid to pull it.
Swope with 5. Stewart trying to answer. Thames skying for the rebounds. 2-on-2 the other way. Kellen Thames, the step and the score.
We do all the talk about three-point shooting and Robbie Avila and the guard play and everything else. That's what they want to do. They want to rebound it and push it and try to score within the first 5 or 6 seconds of the shot clock.
It is a 7-0 run for St. Louis. The Billikens back level with the Broncos with 7:57 to go in the first. Kellen Thames and company making a run here at the Pentagon.
Here, we believe in doing good.
Even in small ways.
In ways nobody sees.
And only a few notice.
We do good in all the details.
Through all the difficulties.
We do good with every appointment, every conversation, every treatment.
We do good for every person.
Because no matter what we do here,
now think of all the good you can do if you join us.
If you have a question, I'll take the time.
I love being a pharmacist at Lewis Drug because I love helping people.
If you have a question, any question, I'll take the time to answer it.
If you have a question, any question, I'll take the time to answer it.
I'm Mark Griffin, president of Lewis Drug. For 81 years, Lewis Drug has been helping families stay healthy and enjoy life. If you ever have a question, any question, a Lewis pharmacist will take the time. Welcome to Lewis Drug.
There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. it can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that.
And what will be a common theme over the course of this new college basketball season, St. Louis is a team that has a lot of new faces on their squad this year, just 3 returners from last year's squad.
It's interesting. They have 7 transfers and 3 freshmen coming in, and I think a lot of people would look at their roster and say, oh man, I wish I had continuity like that this year. It's a new coaching staff, new plays, but they got 3 guys that kind of understand what it's going to take to run Schultz's offense. And like we mentioned at the Open, you got it at the point and you got it at the 5, and those are about as important spots as you can get.
Josh Schultz has proven he can win at any level. A celebrated D2 coach. So many runs to the Final Four in his time with Lincoln Memorial in Harrogate, Tennessee, including some in this building. This complex has hosted the D2 national title on a couple of occasions. And then certainly his time at Indiana State, taking that program back to the heights not seen since the Larry Bird days. He's trying to do the same thing with the Billikens. They were picked to finish 4th in the A-10 as Christoph Tilley able to power and finish over Avila. Puts the Broncos back on top by 2.
It's a great job, great possession there by the Broncos, not settling for a 3. 12 of their previous 19 shots were from the 3-point line. That time made a conscious effort to get the ball inside.
Yeah, we talked about it in the break that what St. Louis had started doing was they were getting to the rim, while Santa Clara was kind of settling for jump shots. You see Kellen Thames drawing the foul right there on Christoph Tilley. I think it's really interesting over here. They ran a 5-4 pick and roll.
Right.
I didn't know that Christoph Tilley had that.
He is showing you his ability to, to finish inside. I was more impressed with the finish as well. That's through contact and literally shot over Robbie Avila. And if he can continue to do that with his length as he comes out of the game, that could be a problem.
Until he did pick up the personal there as he will head to the bench. The Broncos coaching staff has said he's really grown every year, especially on the offensive ends. More polished. He's shooting the 3 a little better now as well.
He's extending his offensive repertoire. A couple of plays they've run, they've spaced him out to the corner for 3.
Mahi now an open look from deep. Elijah Mahi getting it rolling in his first D1 appearance. 8 points now, 2 of 2 from distance, 3 of 4 from the floor.
You won't be able to continue to go under the screen on him. You're going to have to chase him off the 3-point line. You go under at his size, he's going to definitely stop and elevate and shoot it.
He shot 47% last year at his junior college, West Valley College in California, from deep. Different level, of course, but shooting is shooting.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can shoot it, you don't care where it is. You just need a hoop.
Thames in the corner. Second tray now with a half for St. Louis. Kellen Thames with 9.
Shooting the 3 is not a strength of his, but they're going to take him. You want him to be in the corner. He spent quite a bit of time yesterday here shooting corner 3s, and mistake in the communication of the defensive end of the floor.
That might have been the shot that they wanted, though. That might have been the shot Santa Clara was allowing him to give up. Because if you saw the bench right there, he had something to say. I'm sure the bench let him know. That's the shot we want right there. And Kellen Thames made him punish him for it.
Thames has not missed the shot yet. 3 of 3 from the floor. A couple of free throws made as well to go along with 2 rebounds. Again, Thames inserted into the starting lineup, as Rob mentioned, because of the injury to Kobe Johnson. Certainly proving his worth in the first game of the season.
And you got to give him credit for that too, right? Like, he's coming in, he was supposed to be a guy coming off the bench. And he gets his opportunity. He steps in and he starts, and he has 9 points. He even picked up 2 fouls early, and he's still out here scoring. He's making some impacts on the defensive end of the floor. That's what you want, right? That's how you know you got a healthy program, was when you have that next guy or that next man up mentality where it's my opportunity, I'm going to go out there and take advantage of it.
And credit to Thames. I mean, usually when guys pick up their second foul early, they tend to not be as aggressive. He's continuing to attack.
Speaking of which, another triple drops for Kellen Thames, the redshirt sophomore who's been with this program from the start, lifting the Billikens to a three-point edge, and now Swope gets the tie-up on Stewart's. Possession will stay with the Broncos with 6:13 to go in the first.
That's the second time Swope has nearly picked the pocket. Carlos Stewart there, and coach is going to talk to him, take him out. And Thame is not known for his three-point shooting, but he's knocked down two from behind the line.
He might be now.
Hey, and today you got to get out and close. Yeah, he does everything else so well. He seems so confident in his system and freedom, and he has. And
another turnover forced. Thames in transition. Jimerson on the drive. St. Louis with a 8-0 run, and Herb Sendek needs a timeout.
That has been the best player on the floor.
Biggest jump.
Let me ask you this, Randolph. If you're Herb Sendek right now, let's just say your scouting report was, all right, we can let him shoot. We don't have to close out long on him. You can close out short. Like, we'll live with that shot. He just made 2 in a row. He's got 12 out here in the first 14 minutes. How do you change what you're doing? Like, how do you adjust that?
His 2 3-pointers is not what he's upset about. It's the lack of getting back in transition and the turnovers on the offensive end. If you're game planning, you can live with Ames shooting threes. He's making 2. He may make another one, so what? But what you cannot do is be sloppy here on the offensive end of the floor, turning the basketball over, not getting shots, and then not getting back in transition, setting our defense. So the rest of the things will take care of itself. That's part of the scouting report. He has not shown to be a shooter, and you can live with that. These are the baskets that are there. Having Jimerson beat you off the bounce, that's not what he's known for. You're not getting back. You're not matching up. Usually those roles are switched. You got Jimerson driving to the rim. You got Thane knocking down threes, and those are scouting report errors that drive coaches mad because you're losing your defensive principles.
Santa Clara had led through much of this first half. It's the Billikens now up by 5. Broncos looking for an answer. It's Johnny O'Neal. Tongue inside. Good second chance opportunity that goes begging.
Bodies are bouncing off Tongue when he gets inside.
Yeah.
People are just falling all over the place.
That's a good description of it. He was up for this last night. He was so excited for the matchup with Avila to show this team what he was made of. 5 to shoot. Jimerson. It'll be an offensive foul. Anya with the push to free Jimerson for the 3.
And this is what happens in their offense. You do a good job, but Avila sets a back screen. Now it's late, and it forces you to switch. And then now you get a small guard on him. You get your point guard on him. And then you got to come help, and he skips it to the corner for 3.
This is Mahi on the drive. He's been bright. Foul on the floor before the shot on Anya. Second personal.
We talked about Tongue, but Anya's activity on both ends of the floor has been very noticeable as well. Just late with the closeout there. Did a really good job trying to move his feet, but lost his footing there and committed the foul.
Larry Hughes the second on now for Anya with those 2 personals. Mahi at the free throw line, trying to trim this 5-point deficit with 5:06 to go in the first. Cannot get the 1-and-1 to drop. Jimerson there. Here is Thames, who's been one of the stars of the show. Hughes on the drive. O'Neal helping to affect that shot. Up to Adama Alpha Ball, who started hot with 7 quick points. Has been quieted since. Tongue again heading to the free throw line.
It's 2 on Robbie.
Just a step slow there for Robbie. He had to help on the dribble handoff, and he was just a step slow getting back. And it's a big foul there, a big decision here. Do you leave him in for the remainder of the half? You're up 5 here, and I think Coach Schultz will play it safe and take him out.
Yeah, I think you take them out, you give them a blow,
Yeah.
and you see what happens. If they make a little run here, then you can rethink that decision. But with 4 minutes left, I think with the lead, it's probably the right call. Now, this is a chance for A.J. Casey. You know, you look at him, man. He checks all the boxes when it comes to the layup line scouting report. But we said the same thing when he was at Miami. So now he's got some time here to make a little bit of noise and cement himself some a spot in that rotation.
Tongue, another meaningful basketball play off the bench for Cameron Tongue.
He's been their best player. He's been really, really impressive. He's been active on both ends of the floor.
And Sminger back out after taking that shot to the back off the chair. Over the ball on the drive with 5 to shoot. Casey trying to move the feet but committed the foul. That stop-start ability for a guy his size at 6'7", that's tough to defend.
That's why we got scouts in the stands. I mean, the guy's 6'7", that ball handling ability. Hezzy there, draws the foul on Casey. I mean, he's an impressive prospect here that's buy-in on the defensive end of the floor. I mean,
there's a reason why he started at Arizona. Right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why Arizona wanted him. Part of the reason why he transferred out of the program was because he had to take that step on the defensive end. And you can see it in his body. He's filled out a little bit.
Yeah.
They said he's buying in more on the defensive end. And I don't know if you agree with this, Randolph. I think half of being a good defender is just wanting to be a good defender and having that mindset. And he's got the physical tools where if he's bought in, he could be really, really good and impactful.
A lot of times you hear guys when they go to the NBA, they'll hear different things, and that don't always fit to what the coach wanted at the collegiate level. It does here because the NBA the scouts told him when he went and put his name in, like, hey, you got to become a better defender. You got to change your body. And he has done both.
Right on cue, ball with the steal. Adama out for ball now with 11 for Santa Clara, who regains the lead.
He heard you say that Cameron Tongue was the best player in the first half. And watch this, RC. Watch this, Randolph.
Hey, Tongue has impacted the game on both ends, and he's done a heck of a job scoring and defending. And we all know the talent that Adama off the ball is.
Just 4 Broncos have scored, by the way, in this first half. Tongue and Ball with 11 apiece, 8 from Mahi off the bench, and 4 from Christoph Tilley, who's been seated with 2 fouls for much of this first half. Ball again, able to shake free.
Wow. Jimerson didn't have a chance. He came in with the hesitation move there, and I thought there was some contact. The officials let him play. Hello.
Swope, the step back, does not drop. Ball averaged 14 points, 3 assists a season ago. First team all-conference in the WCC in his first year with the program. After those 2 years at Arizona to start, as Rob mentioned. Tongue affected by Casey on that shot. St. Louis in transition. Jimerson. Gibson Jimerson with the tray.
They needed that one. Swope was over here. He just had 2 wide open threes from the exact same spot and missed them both. And without Robbie in there, that's kind of what they're going to have to do is live with those threes that you see Tongue. That's the first. Okay, he made up for it. I was about to say that's the first bad thing that he's done this half, but then when he got his own offensive rebound and laid it back in.
A free throw on the way for Cameron Tongue, who's got 13 in this first half. Broncos on a bit of a run, up by 2.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansborough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
Championships, noise is made here. Memories are made here. Champions win here. The only thing missing here is you. The NCAA Division II Women's Volleyball Championship, coming to Sioux Falls, South Dakota this December. Get your seats at ncaa.com/tickets.
All right, back here at the Sanford Pentagon, we got Santa Clara, St. Louis, and Herb Sendek has done an incredible job with the Bronx. It's been 30 years, though, almost 30 years since they made the NCAA tournament. That was back in 1996 with Dick Davey. This might be the year. Sendek feels like this is his deepest team, not a lot of separation from his starters to his reserves. They're cohesive, a lot of retention, and you talk to other coaches in the league in the WCC, they feel as though Santa Clara might actually be Gonzaga's biggest threat this year to a WCC title.
Thank you, Jeff. Isn't that crazy? 1996, the last time they were in the tournament.
Wait. You act like being in the mid-'90s is a bad thing, bro. Like it's a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like it isn't that long.
It doesn't feel like it, but when you put the number 30 next to that, almost.
Just wait until we come back to the shot over here at the desk. You see the gray in Randolph's beard. That'll give it all away.
Steve Nash, of course, was the point guard of that team. They lost to Kansas as a 10 seed that year. They are due, certainly. It's been such a good program.
Robbie
5 of the last 6 years with 20 wins under Herb Sendek.
They brought Robbie Avila back in at the under 4 for the last 2 minutes. I think that Schertz basically did the exact thing that we were kind of talking about there. Nice pass. He is so good at understanding the game and processing the game. He reads basketball the way that you want a coach to read basketball.
I think he's the best passing guy, and he gets a foul. Wow, that's a big call there. Could have been Robbie Avila's third foul.
You got to make sure you're going to get a charge if you try to take it right there. You think that was the right call, Randolph?
It's close. I thought I was worried about the.
It was close. Come on, man.
No charge underneath. I mean, I tell you what they won't do. That's change it. So there's no need to arguing about it now.
39-38. Avila on the take. Will this be Tongue or will this be Ball? It's going to be Cameron Tongue on the personal.
So you know what's interesting about that set right there? They put that in last week. It was before he put the ball on the floor. They've been working on ghost screens with him when he sets those ball screens. When the defender's feet are in a certain angle, essentially, don't even bother setting the screen. Just go because the guard's not going to be able to recover. And one of their assistant coaches, Zach Boyceworth, showed him that 20 minutes before the start of a practice. As they're walking, he showed him a clip of Chet Holmgren on his phone. And when he got to the practice, when they started scrimmaging 20 minutes into it, Robbie did it. And after he shot the three that was open, he pointed to Zach on the sideline and said, "There's your Chet," as the ball was going into the basket. He just picks things up so quickly when you teach it to him.
Such a good basketball brain. Had a phenomenal year last year, of course. 17 points, nearly 7 rebounds, 4 assists a game. Is Tongue again grabs his own miss and finishes. 41-39. Santa Clara up to Cameron Tongue now tying his career high of 16. He had that last year against New Mexico in December. He's done that in the first half. Santa Clara with 24 bench points to none for the Billikens. And now Tongue does pick up a third personal right at the end of the half.
Yeah,
He's done everything this half, man. He's scored, he's rebounded, he's fouled, he's made a three, he's blocked a shot. He's everywhere.
We'll have to sit now for the final 63 seconds of this first half as Josh Schertz looks on. Schertz was so excited for this opportunity with his guys to play another team that you know is going to test you right off the jump.
Both coaches were excited to get tested early. When most programs avoid that, they want a cupcake win to start the year. Not these programs, not these coaches. They come out, they want challenging games. They want to measure their teams and see where they are early. And whoever gets this win will get a quality win that'll benefit them come Selection Sunday.
Well, you said it, a resume builder. That's what's at stake here. Avila able to knock down both free throws, tied back at 41 apiece. Avila with 9 in this first half.
St. Louis is dropping into a zone here.
Yeah.
RC, we looked that up yesterday on Synergy. 5% of Indiana State's possessions last season were in zone. And you know what? You know what the best way to get a team out of a zone is?
Shoot it from 30 feet.
The range displayed by Adama Alpha Ball. He shot at 35% from deep a season ago. 16 now for the Frenchman.
That's Randolph Childress range right there. I'm more get my toes on the line.
Hey, that is And at 6'7", again, you see why we've seen a couple of scouts in the building. I mean, he's, for what happened with his body and what the step he's taken on the defensive end of the floor. And that's why we're talking about this team and why we're so excited about what they could be in the WCC.
41 seconds left in the first half. Josh Schertz's Billikens down by 3. Santa Clara and St. Louis, for that matter, not shooting it great from distance. Both 33% or worse in this opening frame. Both have gotten it done in other ways, though. Getting to the paint. 22 paint points for the Billikens so far, 18 for the Broncos.
I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about this team, and in particular St. Louis, is that they want to attack the rim in the paint, and then they play inside out. I mean, they're a really good, efficient three-point shooting team, but they want to attack you there. They want to get inside the rim.
Anya cannot convert, and he will get a technical for hanging on the rim.
And that goes in the book as a personal foul too, right? Is that 3 on him?
Yeah, he hung on the rim and tried to reach with his right hand. They don't like the call, but it's the correct call.
You know what the best way to avoid that is? Finish the dunk.
He's played so hard.
RC with a little head shake.
Yeah, I mean, Robbie's never dunked before, so he doesn't understand.
Class B technical foul. He's holding on the rim and trying to gain an advantage.
So Class B technical for holding on the rim while he's trying to gain advantage. Well, an opponent has the basketball is the official conversation.
He tried to have a Rob Douster dunk where you hold on to the rim and grab and dunk like when you're a kid. And unfortunately, it's not illegal.
It does not look like that one in the book.
No, it's not a personal foul. It's not a personal foul.
Yeah, so he's only has 2.
He only has 2. It's not a personal.
So Ball makes the free throw to push the lead to 4 with 32 seconds left. 2-second difference between game and shot clock at the end of this half.
I would just like to state for the record, 45 pounds ago, I was able to dunk.
This is Carlos Stewart, a quiet first half for him. Scoreless in his return for Santa Clara. He's got the basketball, though.
Yeah. Folks did a really good job of staying in front of the basketball, putting pressure, created a couple of turnovers.
The corner 3 drops for Tyree Bryan. 2 seconds left now. Swope quickly to Thames. Great job by Ball to affect the shots, and it will be the Broncos who will carry a 7-point advantage into the break, a 9-2 run to close the half for Santa Clara.
They outscored them 20-8 after Robbie picked up his second foul with 4:47 left.
His level of aggressiveness changed, and he's the temperature guy for the St. Louis Billikens. So they got to come out. He's got to reestablish his aggressiveness that he picked up. But if you're the Broncos, just continue to do what you do. They've solidified themselves in this first half.
An impressive run to close out the opening 20. Let's send things over to Jeff Goodman standing by with Herb Sendek.
All right, Herb, you're up 7.5. It's been the Cameron Tongue show for the most part with Adama, obviously, 16 apiece. What do you like about this group so far this half?
Yeah, we knew this was going to be an incredibly tough game coming in. You saw the first half. It was a seesaw battle, so this game is going to go down to the wire. Great team that we're playing to open the season here in St. Louis.
You've done a good job guarding the three-point line on them. I think they've got 4 threes so far in the first half. How much has that been a priority with Josh Schertz's teams?
Obviously, that's a key, but we also have to take away the rim. They've really lived at the rim. We've given up some key second shots.
Thanks, Herb.
Thanks, Jim. All right, buddy.
Herb Sendek and the Broncos building the 7-point lead at the half. Stick around, more to come here from the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls. It is the Field of 68 opening day showcase.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today.
What does primary care mean to us? At Sanford Health, it means being there when and where you need it most. It means building a relationship, because when a provider really knows you, they can deliver the best care for every aspect of your health and your life. So what does primary care mean for you? It means understanding your health for today and for where you're headed next. It means a lifetime of care for a lifetime of you.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Hummel podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
All right, back here at the Sanford Pentagon. Jeff Goodman here with Rob Dostler, Randolph Childress. And listen, we got a good one right now in the second game of the triple header. Santa Clara's up 7, 48-41. Let's go back to the first game, though, and kind of recap that Charleston win. That was kind of a grinder for a little while in terms of Southern Illinois making it a game and then coming back, and Charleston pulled away.
Yeah, I think it's two words that you need to know. Ante Brozovic. I mean, he was unbelievable. As good as he was in the post, as good as he was passing the ball, I mean, we knew he was going to be good, but I don't know if I necessarily expected him to come in and completely dominate a really good defensive team the way that he did.
I think he had to. I think obviously without Debo, without Darren Boyd, there's a little bit more pressure on him, and especially with Lazar Djokovic just wasn't completely himself. He's not healthy yet.
He had to, because no one knew if he was capable of doing this, because he's been a piece, and then this year they're depending on him to being the guy. He showed you today he can be the guy against a really physical team.
Listen, I think this is a Charleston team that's only going to get better. Mm-hmm. But again, we might see a three-peat. Certainly Towson's a team with a lot back. But Charleston's upside, if you can get those two big guys going, then Darren Boyd is as good as they think he's going to be when he gets healthy. This is a team that I don't know how many holes they have.
Yeah, and it's getting Debo back. It's getting the big thing. And it's not just having him back. It's how long does it take for him to get back to the guy that he was when he committed there. I think that he has the ability to kind of be the scorer that they're missing. I see Brozovic over here, the and one that he had. They have the CAA preseason player of the year in Ante Brozovic. And if you talk to that staff, they feel like Debo could come in and be their leading scorer. Yeah. Which is like, okay, we just saw what he did right here. I mean, that's saying a lot.
It was fun today to have Scott Nagy back here.
It was.
And I think he had, fun. Obviously, you lose. You may not be having as much fun, but he saw a lot of familiar faces. He came back to the place where he built South Dakota State for 21 years into one of the best mid-major programs. What type of team do you think he's going to have this year? They were picked 7th in the preseason in the Valley. Do you think that's where they end up, or can they battle for one of those top spots?
And I said this during the game. There's not 7 better teams than him in the league. And throw the preseason rankings out. This team will adjust. There's not many programs in the country there's new staff as well as 11 new players. So he's teaching his coaches as much as he's teaching his players. It's going to take time. This team is ahead of the game as far as on the defensive end of the floor. They want to get up and down, so they're going to play with pace. They just got to settle down, and they're going to figure out a way to consistently make some jump shots.
I think that's a really important point that you just made, because he's last year when he was at Wright State, he was telling us, right? Like, you could go to a practice, and he could just kind of stand back and be the CEO and watch what's happening and let the guys that he's already taught, all of his assistants, his staff that has been there with him, run the practice and teach everybody everything. Now, he's got to teach them the drills. He's got to teach them the motion offense. He's got to teach them their different sets. He's got to teach them their different concepts. He's got to once you've got a little bit of that continuity and you know each other, you can just kind of say, all right, we're getting into 5-on-5-on-5, right? Or we're getting into like 3-man, whatever the drill is that you're going to run, and you just do it. But now he's got to teach them. And what did he tell us? I'm not a very good teacher.
He says I don't have a ton of patience.
Who says that? What coach says that? And he is a great teacher. like you were going to say, he doesn't have a lot of patience, but he's a heck of a teacher and a hell of a coach. And there aren't 3 or 4 better coaches, really, maybe in mid-major basketball than Scott Nagy.
It's a different team because last year his team shot the ball so well. He had a great three-point shooting team, and that's not the case this year. This team will struggle. I bet you next week they're going to spend a ton of time on zone offense because everybody plays them. You're going to have to zone it because they are big, they are physical, and they just lack shooting.
Yeah, I mean, Elijah Elliott certainly showed he's the one guy who can go get a bucket for them, but they need to find a little bit more than that, and they need to figure out their bigs. They've got a bunch of bigs, and right now they're trying to figure out, first of all, they got to stay out of foul trouble, but that's hard to do against big Ante Berzovic, one of the most skilled big guys in the country. We're seeing another skilled big guy right now, Robbie Avila. They're down 7 right now at the break to a Santa Clara team that a lot of people think can contend for that WCC regular season title with the Zags.
There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that.
I'm becoming more than just a title or a 4.0.
I see. I wonder.
A dream.
A seeker of truth and beauty. Challenging my mind.
Furthering what I thought I knew.
I question.
I reflect.
I lead.
Creating connection and passion to transform not just me, but my community.
So it becomes more too.
I am. We are.
Together, we become more.
This is where we prepare, stretch, challenge, wonder, dream, rise. This is where we find the truth and where we find ourselves.
Balls. Alex Heinert back in the hot seat in between these two. Good first half of basketball. I mean, good back and forth, kind of what we expected here today.
Yeah, you know, I think that I was expecting a little bit more from St. Louis offensively, but they kind of clicked. They found it towards the end of that first half. And I think what I'm really interested to see is how do they adjust to kind of the length and the athleticism? Because it's one thing to say, like, this is what it's going to be when you're in practice, you're in a shoot-around, right? It's another thing when you actually see it. And now you're Gibson Jimerson, and you got 3 or 4 of these dudes that are 6'7" and strong and long in your face. How do they adjust going into the second half?
The question that I have is whether they find offense when Robbie Avila is not on the floor and he's not aggressive. They're going to have to figure out a way. He can't play 40 minutes. Someone else is going to have to step up and show a level of consistency if his team wants to reach his goals.
Yeah, Rob mentioned it. They were a different team down the stretch without Avila on the floor after he picked up that second foul and needed a bit of a break. As we look at the highlights from the opening half, Santa Clara jumps out to a 9-point advantage midway through the first. It's that size, that physicality, and it helps that Adama Alpha Ball was making plays right from the jump.
Get to know the name. Adama Alpha Ball. 6'7" wing. He's changed his body. He's coming out. He's raising up. He shoots the lights out of it. He's putting it on the deck. I think his impact on both ends of the floor with this team goes a long way because they got a guy that they can give the ball to when things break down. But for St. Louis, again, they're going to have to find someone else to step up. Thame, I thought, did a really good job, but that's not what his strength is. The offensive production that he's giving them
can't rely
is a
on
bonus.
that.
You can't rely on that night in and night out. He knows what he is, and they just got to find out other guys. I think the point guard play for both teams has to take a step up. I don't think either one of the point guards collectively have played particularly great. And which one of those guys pick up? Either it's Stewart or it's Swope. One of these guys have got to step up and start playing more consistent and definitely play much better than they did in the first half.
Yeah, and I think to your point about Kellen Thames, it was huge the 12 points that they got from there. If he doesn't show up the way they did in the first half, they're not in this game. It's over.
I think both teams have got production from guys that they weren't expecting it from. Tung on the other end,
16 for
16.
Cameron
He's got a
Tung.
career high in the first half.
No. I don't know, man. That was my prediction for the game.
Yeah.
Cameron Tung off the bench, gonna match his career high in the first half.
I'm taking
That's
you to
what
Vegas.
Ball knowers knew that was coming.
Santa Clara able to build this advantage because they have gotten great contributions from a few unexpected sources. As you said, 16 off the bench from Cameron Tung, 8 from Elijah Mahi, who they expect to be good this season. Again, those two combining for the 24 bench points for the Broncos. For St. Louis, nobody else really has stepped up beyond Thames with 12 and Avila chipping in. It's been a quiet first half from some of the guys like Swope and Jimerson, who they really need to have good games to have a shot against a good team like Santa Clara.
And it's critically important because of what we see here, bench points. There's 0 bench points. That puts so much pressure on your starters, and those guys have got to step up, and it can ill afford to struggle when you get that lack of production from your bench.
Still 20 minutes left in this one, though. 7-point lead for Santa Clara. We'll take a look ahead to our third game in this showcase. South Dakota State McNeese coming up next.
At NCAA Championships, noise is made here. Memories are made here. Champions win here. The only thing missing here is you. The NCAA Division II Women's Volleyball Championship coming to Sioux Falls, South Dakota this December. Get your seats at ncaa.com/tickets.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansborough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where you're good.
Coming up later today at 5 o'clock Central Time, it's our final game of 3 in the Field of 68 Opening Day Classic. South Dakota State against McNeese State in a battle of two teams who were in the Big Dance a season ago and expect to be back this year. Then stick around 8:30 p.m. The Field of 68 After Dark going live here from the Pentagon.
Here, we believe in doing good.
Even in small ways.
In ways nobody sees.
And only a few notice.
We do good in all the details.
Through all the difficulties.
We do good with every appointment, every conversation, every treatment.
We do good for every person.
Because no matter what we do here,
Amra binotan artistically. Ito pasada yukai, yukayizwoka.
Now think of all the good you can do if you join us.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today.
Getting set for the start of half number 2 here in our second game in the Field of 68 Opening Day Showcase. St. Louis and Santa Clara, one of the top teams in the Atlantic 10, taking on one of the best from the West Coast Conference. 7-point ball game. Alex Seinert, Randolph Childress, Rob Doster, and Jeff Goodman, along with our crew with you here from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Jeff had a chance to speak briefly with Coach Schertz coming out of the locker room. It sounds like physicality is something the Billikens are really preaching in this second half.
Yeah, they got to be tougher offensively, and they also have to be much more physical in the paint. We talked about it, right? 22 points in the paint that they're giving up is not something that's going to be sustainable if you are St. Louis. They need more out of their interior guys, and they need a bigger presence down there.
Well, he's challenging his guys because the length is bothering him, and he wants his guys to be more aggressive, and they got to meet the challenge and attack. I think that's a settled shot there.
A bit more of what we saw in that first half. Isaiah Swope was just 2 of 8 in the opening 20 minutes. Ball, nice dish inside. Tilly fouled on the way up.
And even there, Ball had the 3. He's hit a couple of 3s already. No would have been upset had he taken that, but yet he drives the lane, and again at 6'7", he's going to see over top of the defense, and that's too easy of a pass and play there. And that's the difference right now, that the way the first half ended, and so far the start of the second half and them opening possessions, a settled 3 for St. Louis on the offensive end, and Santa Clara attacks the paint, and that's what you heard Coach Schultz talk about at halftime. We want to be physical, we want to be aggressive. Some of that is just owning the paint. Physicality starts in the paint, and you work your way out.
Tilly was limited to just 8 minutes in that first half with 2 quick fouls. 6 points now after he makes both free throws. 50-41, largest lead today for Santa Clara as Avila fires up the 3. Anya with the offensive rebounds. There's a little of that toughness coming through. Second chance opportunity for the Billikens. Nice find from Swope. Back to Avila. He'll try again from the same spot and does not miss this time.
You can't give him a second look at the same shot.
It's just a tough matchup for bigs because you're not accustomed to defending a guy out there, and he's the middle of the floor, and he's involved in ball screens actions, and you got to help, and you just can't get to him. Your tendency is when the ball goes on the glass to go rebound, and if you don't get it, good luck getting out to the three-point line to get him.
He is 6'10" and shot just under 40% from 3 a season ago. The Billikens get a stop now, down by 6, a chance to creep a little closer in the opening 90 seconds of the half. Good switch by Tilly to get in front of Swope, who will try again and step back and knock down the corner 3. Back-to-back triples from the Indiana State transfers, and the lead right back down to 3.
Both of his threes have come. Wow, both of his threes have come off a switch, and Adama Ball there just driving and hanging and gliding, finishing off the glass.
19 now for Ball. Avila off the legs of Tilly that time will keep possession with St. Louis. Swope on the drive. Avila will try again. Stewart now attacking. Another 3 by Tyree Bryan. He hit one late in the first half for his only points of the opening 20. Another here. And just like that, the lead right back up to 8.
That's a great drive and find there.
Swope with the answer right back as both teams starting to heat up.
That's 7 straight threes that St. Louis has taken to start the second half here. I think that's something that they're looking at there. They found a lot of them are coming out of the mismatches that are created with Robbie Avila as well.
Tilly will try his luck. The coaching staff said this is a part of his game that he has greatly improved. Christoph Tilly was 4 of 13 from behind the arc last year. Everybody from Santa Clara told us do not be surprised if he makes a couple tomorrow when we spoke yesterday during shoot-arounds. Shout out to Christoph's parents, Ulrika and Hervig, who are watching back home in Berlin. It's the middle of the night over there. 7-hour time difference between Sioux Falls and Germany as Swope continues the hot shooting from distance.
So much for the show play of the point guard position.
Here is Ball now.
Out and taking advantage of it.
This bucket will not count.
No.
Silly got tied up with Jimerson, and that's going to be 3 on the 7-footer.
I do like how Josh Schertz is like, we got to be more physical in the second half, and they come out and they fire up 8 threes in the first 3.5 minutes.
But they've certainly been connecting. 4 have made so far.
I don't like the call there, to be honest. I think it's
They are going to look at this.
Yeah, I thought Tilly was just trying to roll. I thought the screen, he didn't need to screen. It was so much separation.
You know it's back to being college basketball season when we're sitting here watching refs watch something on the monitor. Nothing better than review season in college basketball. I'm surprised we made it this long before we had one.
Will be Santa Clara, will be St. Louis basketball. Third personal on Christoph Tilly. We'll step away for a moment. 16:24 left in the half. Santa Clara up by 5.
At NCAA Championships, noise is made here. Memories are made here. Champions win here. The only thing missing here is you. The NCAA Division II Women's Volleyball Championship coming to Sioux Falls, South Dakota this December. Get your seats at ncaa.com/tickets.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansborough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
As one of the nation's strongest financial organizations, First Premier Bank and Premier Bank Card have the strength to do good. We support nearly 700 organizations and nonprofits. Our employees give more than 30,000 volunteer hours annually. And we are continually seeking ways to make South Dakota an even better place to live. It's the Premier way. First Premier Bank and Premier Bank Card.
Second half action here from Sioux Falls, 58-53. Santa Clara up by 5. It was a long review for the duration of that timeout on the foul by Christoph Tilly. And they will overturn this and say no foul. We'll get the official confirmation.
Fouls on the offensive team. The ball has to be released before.
Or to count the basket. No basket.
Madama Ball, who had made the 3. Again, officially the foul will count, so it is going to go against Tilly for his third personal. It looked like they were checking when the foul occurred.
Because if he had released the shot and the ball was in the air, they'd count the basket. But when the foul was called, Ball still had the ball in his hand, hadn't released it yet, therefore the 3's no good.
Good. So a bang-bang play. Tilly does pick up his third personal and will go to the bench. It remains Santa Clara up by 5. Josh Schertz with his starting 5 outs on the floor. Swope, who's been red hot from deep but cannot keep it going here. He had made 3 of his first 4 triples in the half. Avila way off on that one from the top of the key.
The one concern you got to have for St. Louis is that their offense has picked up. They're knocking down shots here in the second half. The problem for they're having right now was on this end of the floor. They're not getting stops.
And you can't fall in love with
They will get one here on the long 3 that does not drop from Stewart.
They've taken 10 shots in the second half, and every single one of them has been Swope or Avila from behind the arc. You got to make sure that you have some kind of balance there as well.
Jimerson trying to get going. Avila doubled on the baseline, able to find Thames. Blocked at the rim. Got an own miss, though, and put it back. Mahi came across initially to get the swat. Good effort, though. 58-55 is Anya. Again, similar story at the other end. The block, a collect, and a finish by Mahi.
Both of these teams are just trading baskets the same way. They take a three, make a three. They give up a three.
Anything you can do. Can do just as good in this case as the foul comes on the drive.
That possession, it was an offensive shot, offensive rebound, and come down and give up the same thing. And just between a leg crossover, and Isaiah Swoops giving problems to these guards. He's picked up his play on the offensive end.
Anya getting on the floor, just in front of ball. An ill-advised pass, though, picked up by Mahi. Swope got there in time.
Swope's been really solid defensively. I think he's standing there. I think it's the right call.
Timeline.
I can't hear the guys.
Robbie Avila. It'll be an offensive foul. The junior big man barreling into Ensminger. And that's number 3.
It's the right call again. I mean, both of these guys are hitting shots, and
that's the right call?
I do. I agree with the call. I take it you don't.
I wish you guys could get the close-up on the look that I'm giving Randolph right now.
There's Brett Napper now off the bench with the bucket at the rim. Napper's first of the day. Lead back to 7. Jimerson, hard foul this time. Gibson Jimerson took a big shot to the face yesterday in shoot-around. I kind of expected perhaps a little black eye to be seen on number 24. Another tough one taken by Tung this time.
Interesting decision there for Coach Schultz. Robbie Avila picking up his 3rd foul, and he's keeping him in the game. You know, we're just over 14 minutes here left in the second half, and he does not, down 7, he does not want to have any extended minutes. So I'd be curious to see, do they fall back in the zone, or what do they do to try to protect him so he doesn't pick up that 4th foul?
Yeah, at some point you got to trust your guys too, right?
Yeah, he's experienced enough. You got to go with him.
It's his 3rd year. He's played a lot of minutes.
But it makes it more challenging when the opposing team's game plan is to attack him, and he's going to be involved in a lot of ball screens.
I do think it's interesting that they switch the matchups here. They have Anya on Cameron Tung, and they have Avila on Jake Ensminger. A guy that's going to float around and take more threes and be a little bit more physical in and around the paint.
Yeah, you got to keep him off Tung. Tung's a warrior. He's looking for body and contact. You don't want him to force a call there, and got lucky here. Fame did a really good job.
Well, now your hand is kind of forced because Tung is heading to the bench with his you know what? I think Herb Sendek recognized that and saw the matchup there and made that change.
They're going back to Christoph Tilley, who comes on. Tilley, who does have 3 personals. Mahi, a bright spark off the bench. Doesn't get the roll this time. The Billikens trying to push with Anya up to Avila. Robbie Avila, the body and the finish.
It's action in so many different ways. That time off the dribble. You know, you're so used to him giving a dribble handoff, and that time he keeps it, turns the corner and gets the angle.
Avila with 14 now. The lead back down to 4. 13 and a half to go.
Isaiah Swope is really giving these point guards for Santa Clara trouble. I mean, he is really getting into the basketball.
And Sminger had to let it go quickly with the shot clock winding down. To your point, Swope face guarding now all over the floor.
He is taking control of that point guard matchup. I thought both point guards, both teams struggled in the first half. And Swope's picked it up here in the second half.
Rare mistake there from Avila. Bryant can't make them pay on the other end. Jimerson. Gibson Jimerson over the big man for 3.
I love that little jab step to create some space.
Jimerson, St. Louis's leader in basically every three-point shooting category, moving up the A-10 ranks as well, a 3-time all-conference performer. He's got 13. His team, a little careless with the basketball that time in transition. We'll give it back to the Broncos.
I think that's where you see a little bit of the rust and a little bit of getting used to playing with each other. You had Robbie on that last possession throw the ball away over there in the corner. You have Kalawanya over here trying to bring the ball up in transition, trying to rush a little bit. You know, just I know they want to play fast, but at a certain point you kind of have to slow your mind down and slow the game down while you're playing with that kind of pace.
1 point ball game. Azama Alpha ball. We got a quick breather right back in, but cannot connect from 3.
I don't know if I love that shot.
Yeah, I think he can get to the basket whenever he wants. And he definitely can get a 3 off with his size and length.
Swope the kick. Thames in the corner. He's got 14 today, but could not connect on that triple. Thames, Swope, Avila, and Jimerson all with 13 points or more for the Billikens. Still no points off St. Louis's bench. Tilly, another 3.
Wow.
Another one drops for the big man. That looked confident.
Yeah, similar action there. The St. Louis runs with the big in the center of the floor, and they cut off of him, and the big has to help. And we've seen Robbie Allen knock down a couple threes. Tilly takes advantage of it for the Broncos on the previous possession.
Tilly with 12 points now. Ball. They couldn't go back to back, but Tilly picks up the loose basketball and will head to the free throw line. Santa Clara with a 4-point advantage and a chance to add to it from the stripe when we come back to Sioux Falls.
At Sanford Health, it means being there when and where you need it most. It means building a relationship, because when a provider really knows you, they can deliver the best care for every aspect of your health and your life. So what does primary care mean for you? It means understanding your health for today and for where you're headed next. It means a lifetime of care for a lifetime of you.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can know, from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
All right, back here at the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, where Santa Clara, St. Louis, and a great one here in the second half. And Santa Clara star Adama Ball started slowly. Played sparingly his first 2 years at Arizona, then decided to step down a level. Go to Santa Clara. Last year had a very good year, but a little bit inconsistent. Put his name in, went through the NBA draft process. They told him, you got to get your body in better shape. He got stronger, he got leaner, he's in better shape. But the biggest difference, his maturity. They want to see a little bit more consistency out of him this year, and he understands he's got to take that next step in order for Santa Clara to take that next step back to the NCAA tournament.
He's certainly having a big game today. 19 points, 6 of 9 shooting.
I will tell you this, Alex. He is a big soccer fan. He is from Paris, and he supports Manchester City. Can't trust a guy like that. Sorry. Can't trust a guy like that.
The heart wants what it wants, Rob. Doesn't matter where you're from.
Rob, I'll tell you where you can trust him. I'll trust him for a bucket because he's given a lot of them today. So
yes.
And he's an impressive size. I mean, you look at him, you talk about guys being listed 6'7". He looks every bit of 6'7", if not taller.
Do you think Tilly's Union Berlin or Hertha Berlin?
We'll find out. His parents are watching, so make sure they let us know.
They'll let us know. Tilly able to get 1 of 2. He's got 13. I think he's an Union guy, but
yeah.
Thames on the drive. Well defended. Swope stepped on the line. That's their 5th turnover now in the last 5 minutes. They've really shot themselves in the foot in some of these critical moments.
And it feels like some of them are unforced, too. You know, you're stepping on the sidelines when you're catching the ball in the corner. You have Kaluanya trying to go a little bit too fast in transition. Robbie over there making the throw. It feels like, I bet your Shirts is going to say this, Randolph, he's probably going to think that they're beating themselves right now as they switch to the zone. There you go. You called that one.
Yeah, Robbie's back in the game, and you got to protect him. You're down 5, and he comes back in the game, and they go to zone, and he gets to the middle. Then they try to space out and go man-to-man.
And Sminger. He's had a couple of good looks from distance, just hasn't quite been able to connect. Now 0 for 3 from behind the arc. The lead remains 5. Swope. Larry Hughes II, a quiet afternoon for him so far. Still 10 minutes to play in this one, the second game of 3 from Sioux Falls in the Sanford Pentagon in the field of 68 opening day classic. Nice roll by Thames. His big day continues. It's the big man who feeds him.
He's the best passing big in the country, and I don't really think it's close. I think Bercevich is close.
Ivan showing he can do it at both ends.
They don't call him Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for nothing, right?
I think he got that block shot without even jumping. But here,
just slip the screen. He sees that Adama ball is playing above him, and just knows if he drops that ball down there, Kellen Thames is going to go and finish that thing above the rim.
Stewart's still unable to break the rim, or break the seal off the rim, I should say. They got a second crack at it, and Brian does his 3rd tray.
You got to give Santa Clara credit, man. They have taken advantage of the opportunities that have been given to them by some of these St. Louis mistakes. Offensive, it seems like every single time, Randolph, in a big possession like that, when you get an offensive rebound and kick it out for a 3, they shoot 100% on those.
Brian again, back-to-back trays for Tyree Bryan. Josh Shirts needs a timeout as the lead balloons to 9.
What a pass. What a pass here from Adama Alpha Ball. Makes the drop to the perimeter. He's able to see the guy in the corner, Tyree Bryan in the corner, whip it around his defender. What a play. That's an NBA player right there.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Humble podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
What does primary care mean to us? At Sanford Health, it means being there when and where you need it most. It means building a relationship, because when a provider really knows you, they can deliver the best care for every aspect of your health and your life. So what does primary care mean for you? It means understanding your health for today and for where you're headed next. It means a lifetime of care for a lifetime of you.
There is no sport in America that is more difficult to follow than college basketball. It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for injury updates, recruiting news, and transfer portal additions that actually matter. For just $50 a year, get access to the same information that your favorite team's coaching staff is subscribed for. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help you with that.
Santa Clara currently on a 6-0 run. They've scored 10 of the last 12 points to open up a 9-point advantage. The playmaking of Adama Alpha Ball really coming to the forefront.
It's just the other part that he's really improved on here. I think he can drive by Jimmerson whatever he wants, and how he saw Brian in the corner, I don't know, but he's 6'7", and with that vision and that length, I think we talked about how talented he is. It's a difficult matchup for St. Louis, and Thame is the only guy I think that they have on the roster that can defend him. I think everyone else, he's at a mismatch, and when you're at a game like this, they're going to continue to exploit that.
You see Tyree Bryan now 4 of 6 from behind the arc. He shot 39% from deep last year. He was a 41% three-point shooter as a freshman at Charleston Southern. He's got 12 today. Ball leading the way with 19. A couple of assists, a couple of boards as well. 72-63. It's the joint biggest lead of the game for the Broncos. One of the powers from out west making a statement here in Sioux Falls as Avila gets to the rim and finishes over the 7-footer, Tilly.
We're really starting to see the best of Robbie Avila here in like the last 5 or 6 minutes. Putting the ball on the floor, getting to the rim, some of the passing that he can, the vision that he has.
He's got 16. Tilly, though, able to go right at him. Those 3 fouls by Avila slowing him down.
And that's the downside right there. When you have 3 fouls and you're already not the best defender in the world, that's kind of what can happen right there. That's an interesting set that they just ran too, Randolph. Was that just by design?
It's just to get him in the ball in the middle of the zone, and St. Louis continues to struggle to find someone from the bench to help them offensively, and you got to be concerned because of fatigue as well from the starting guys.
Their starters have played big minutes today. Josh Schertz only going 8 deep in this opener.
It's the first game of the season, and these guys are 22 years old. You better not be tired.
Well, I say that because look at they're defending and competing on both ends of the floor. Great job.
We'll continue that conversation right after this. Broncos still up by 9.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today.
If you have a question, I'll take the time.
I love being a pharmacist at Lewis Drug because I love helping people.
If you have a question, any question, I'll take the time to answer it.
If you have a question, any question, I'll take the time to answer it.
I'm Mark Griffin, president of Lewis Drug. For 81 years, Lewis Drug has been helping families stay healthy and enjoy life. If you ever have a question, any question, a Lewis pharmacist will take the time. Welcome to Lewis Drug.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Humble podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
74-65, Santa Clara with a 9-point lead over St. Louis. As the pride of Sioux Falls Roosevelt High School adds a little atmosphere to Heritage Court and the Pentagon in Sioux Falls.
They've been good. Yeah, I've been
I like it.
with that
I like what
band.
they've been given.
I didn't realize they were a high school band. They've been pretty good. They're learning the fight songs. I mean, I feel like the best basketball environments, you got to have a good band.
Yeah.
You got to have a good band that can play some good music.
How was Wake's bands back in the day?
I was too focused on playing, man. I wasn't worried about the band.
That's probably the right answer. Under 8 to play in this premier matchup, 2 of the top mid-major teams in the country in the A10 versus the West Coast Conference. St. Louis, the westernmost school in the Atlantic 10. Santa Clara from the Bay Area, just by San Jose, San Francisco, making the long trek to the Midwest.
Watch the ball get into that free throw line area to Tilly or O'Neal.
Basketball in Ball's hands with 4 to shoot. One of the few times today he's been off the mark. Swope on the drive. He's got 4 fouls, by the way, finding Jimerson in the corner. Gibson Jimerson does have 13 points today, but it's taken him 11 shots to get there, just 2 of 7 from one of the nation's best marksmen from deep. Johnny O'Neal yet to really get going today either, but a second chance opportunity here for Brian.
The zone has forced them to shoot threes, and they're settling from the outside. Now they're in a man-to-man. Let's see if they can get to the rim.
The no-look pass by Ball comes back to him, and then he lost it on the way up. It'll be St. Louis basketball.
A couple of bad possessions there offensively by the Broncos. St. Louis has went to their 2-3 zone, and
you got to take advantage of this, St. Louis.
Yeah.
You kind of got them a little bit out of sorts offensively, right? You can't do that.
Oh, turnover forced. Napper combining with Brian. Tilly inside. He's had a good game today. Avila, though, forcing the turnover.
Reached in from behind.
That's a
that was
risky foul, yeah. But
that was risky. It comes off. It looks great. That's 4 on Tilly. It'll be interesting to see now with Tilly coming out if St. Louis is going to stay in that zone.
Well, they're in the zone to protect Robbie Avila, but now we're at 6:35, and at some point they're going to have to go to their man-to-man.
Swope so quick, creates the space, does not get the 3 to drop. Herb Sendek going to his bench a moment ago. Tilly being replaced by Tung, who had 16 points in the first half. Yet to score here after the break. Thames nearly jumping the pass. Stewart to Ball for 3. Yes!
That's the risk for gambling for steals there. You try to jump the passing lane, you don't get it. You got to have help come over, and it leaves Dama Ball, NBA player, wide open for 3.
I was going to say, he looks like an NBA player. That's just my opinion.
He's got 22 now, 7 of 11 shooting. As Swope answers right back. 17 now for Isaiah Swope, his 5th 3 of the game.
This team will need Swope to spend more time penetrating. He's shot a ton of threes here, and it's a big part of his game, but I think the team needs him to attack the paint. He shot 15 times, 12 of them threes. Needs to spend more time with his quickness and strength in the paint, creating for his teammates.
It's a tough balance to strike, right? Like he can make a lot of these really difficult, like the step backs. He can be really creative doing it, but at the same time, you don't want to take that aggressiveness away, right? But you want to be able to get him to kind of.
The threes are for. It's fine to do this. The penetration is for his teammates.
Or himself.
Or himself. Forces rotation. Getting in the paint, he's going to draw defenders. You don't help, he can finish, as he's shown you there.
19 now for Swope.
And he's a handful. He's got an extra gear. He shoots it so well. I just think he can get to the paint whenever he wants, because as we see, we acknowledge that they're missing Kobe Johnson, but this lack of production from the bench can be an issue for this team going forward.
5 minutes left, 77-70. Santa Clara up by 7 with the basketball. And Sminger. 4th time not the charm from deep for the big German.
Still a great pass and great find there.
It's a good look.
By Ball.
You live with that shot. That's the shot that you want if you're Santa Clara there.
Avila, Jimerson.
Wow.
Catch and shoot and drain.
Robbie's down. He hurt his ankle again. Robbie's down.
He got to the paint. There was a lot of traffic in there. He dished it off to Jimerson on the wing.
He's been dealing with an ankle injury for much of the offseason as well. I'm not even. Was it an ankle? I just saw him go down. Yeah, that right ankle. Ugh. Fingers crossed that it's not a bad one.
Yeah.
But you see his reaction there.
And when you've been battling those things for so long, he's just obviously not just in pain, he's just frustrated because this has been an issue with him all summer.
Avila up on his feet, but needing assistance. You have to get off to the sideline. Robbie Avila, one of the nation's premier players, a breakout star in every sense a season ago on Indiana State's run to a Valley championship and a runner-up spot in the NIT. He is down to the locker room with his team trailing by 4 and 4:36 to go in the second.
You just hate to see injuries like that.
You do.
Especially with a guy that's been as impactful as Avila has been and has been battling those injuries. You know, I think part of what makes it frustrating to see that is knowing that the effort he put in over the last month to get himself able to play, and you come in here in the first game of the season that you've been looking forward to, that you've done all that rehab work for, you hate to see it.
Well, there was some question whether he would be ready for this game when that injury happened, less than a month ago.
So how do you adjust here, Randolph? If you're Shirts and you don't know if you're going to be getting the guy that you kind of build your offense around, how do you adjust?
I think now the way the game is going, we got to go to Isaiah Swope. He's got to be the guy, right? But again, I think you got to run sets and plays that allows him to not only shoot threes, but he's got to, again, as I said before, get in the paint to create rotation to get his teammates involved. 4 minutes and 36 seconds left in this game. He's competed his tail off on both ends of the floor, but the issue they're having is they got to get stops. This is only a 4-point game, but offensively, losing Robbie Avila, it's just a big part of their identity. They run their off. He's their quintessential point guard in the half-court set, and right now they'll probably be small ball.
Here's if I'm Shirts, this is the message that I'm giving my team. We have 4 minutes left to win this game, and you have enough talent on the floor right here to be able to win this game. Make some plays defensively, knock down some shots, right? This is going to be a resume win. If you get this will be a quad 1 win when things are all said and done in March. You got to find a way to be able to do it. You played without Robbie before. He's been in foul trouble before. You got to figure out an answer.
Stewart finding Tongue inside. Good help by Jimerson. Plenty of time left on this possession for the Broncos. Still 10 to shoot. Carlos Stewart. Cameron Tongue, new career high for Cameron Tongue now with 18.
Finally saw the adjustment made there by the Broncos. When Santa Clara goes to their zone, when the ball goes into middle, when it comes back out, they go man. So they start out in the 2-3, but then they go to man, and finally they made the adjustment. Rejected the screen and went down in the paint, and Tongue with an unselfish play there in the finish. And it's a bad foul there coming up the floor by Stewart.
What, when you have a 6-point lead with 4 minutes left, you don't want to commit a foul 50 feet away from the basket?
I don't think he was coached that. That'd be my suggestion. Just throw that out there. And you don't want to get this guy going. He's gotten to a groove here in the second half, and it's just easy points in a close game.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Avila gets hurt. You just score down here. You get a stop and a bucket. You kind of break their will at the end of 4.
And now a turnover.
Instead of foul and a turnover, it's a 1-point game. Maybe not.
Anya inside, no. Basketball would go to Santa Clara. Swope, by the way, with 16 second-half points now after those 2 free throws. He's got 21 for the game. Larry Hughes, the second, now 0 for 5 today. St. Louis still looking for their first bench points of the afternoon.
Oh, he's battled there. He's battled just one guy in the land of the trees against 4, and got to try to find a way to finish that. I thought they had something there with Ball catching at the free throw line, making a play. And this is when they go man. Tilly's going to back him in and shoot the hook.
That's a nice move.
You could see it coming because they figured it out. When the ball goes in the middle, they're going man to man. And they put him in, and he instantly just knows he has a smaller defender on him. Just let everybody clear out and go one-on-one.
Because it's not your instinct in the middle of the zone when you get the ball there to think I can go one-on-one and win this possession.
Tilly at the other end with the block. It eventually comes to Ball. 17 tonight for Christoph Tilly. 7 rebounds as well.
Big possession here for the Billikens defensively.
Down by 6. 7 to shoot. Tilly, he's been perfect from deep. In and out this time. Jimerson, a big rebound with 2 Broncos next to him. 2-possession ball game with 2:45 to go. Santa Clara has led throughout. St. Louis has fought back. Isaiah Swope gets them a little bit closer. 6th 3 of the ball game for Swope. He's got 24. St. Louis now down by 3.
That is such a tough shot. You create that space. You got a guy that's 6'7" on you, and a step back from, what are we calling that? 28 feet? 27 feet? We're going to be generous here. And you can see it right here on this replay.
They tried to run a ball screen and force the switch, and then Ball did a great job getting over, and it's just a shot. I mean, Isaiah Swope just steps up and makes a big play, and he's definitely capable of taking this game home. He's shown that. They're just going to have to continue to find a way to get shots, and more importantly now, they're going to have to rebound against a much bigger team across the board.
Yeah, for me, the issue isn't going to be whether or not they're going to be able to create enough offense to be able to have a chance. I mean, they got to get stops. The bottom line is this: if you get 3 stops, you probably find a way to be able to have a shot to win this game, right? Get 3 stops over the course of the next 2 minutes, and you'll have a chance to be able to win this game.
It's amazing how the zone bothers teams. I mean, you don't get a ton of practice. When you don't play primarily zone, we saw it earlier. College of Charleston, the game was close, and then when they went to their 1-3-1 zone, and it throws a curveball. That's what we're watching now. St. Louis goes to they're down 8-10 points. They go to their zone, and it's throwing the Broncos off.
Robbie's coming out of the locker room here. He's putting no weight on his right ankle. His shoe is off, and he's got ice already wrapped around the ankle. That is probably means he's done for the day.
I would say that is an accurate assessment of the situation, Mr. Doster. St. Louis, though, without him, still down by 3. Ball on the drive. That's a good contest that time from Kellen Thames, who has stepped up in a big way on both ends.
I think Ball can get that shot whenever he wants. I would put it back in his hand with another ball screen and attack the rim, similar to what St. Louis is going to do. You're going to put the ball in Isaiah Swope's hands, run a ball screen, and attack the matchup.
Oh, Swope wanted that one. The step back does not drop this time. St. Louis now 8 for 21 in the second half from 3, 35% for the game from deep. And still they trail by 3 with 1:45 to go. Ball. Floating. Unable to finish. Swope now in transition. Does not have numbers. 90 seconds left in regulation. 3-point ball game here in Sioux Falls in Game 2 of the Field of 68 Opening Day Classic.
They know the matchup they want
They
here.
picked on the matchup. That's the guy they want to attack.
Swope to the rim. Tilly that time with the help defense, putting him off the layup. That's tough when you're 5'10" and you've got 7 foot coming your way.
Yeah. That's a great play by Tilly. Not many 7-footers can have a guard pressing them on a perimeter and doesn't turn it over and draws the foul. As you see, Robbie Avila there is just, no one wants to see that. And just such a heck of a player as you see the foul here by Thames.
You know what I do love, though? That he is out here cheering his team on. He's clapping, he's yelling for him. You can see the competitiveness coming out.
And the leader that he is, to want to be a part of this on the opening day with his new group.
Big possession here. Under a minute, chance to go to a 2-possession game. This
Basketball.
is a big possession by the Billikens here.
Carlos Stewart Jr. with the basketball. He has struggled all day, and that continues. Good defense. And now a tie-up is called, and possession will stay with the Broncos. It was Tilly again, who's had a monster afternoon.
I don't like that shot. You had Tilly switched on to Kellen Thames.
But look at Tilly. He doesn't give up on the play. He doesn't quit watching. He comes in there, ties him up. He essentially steals a possession here.
We said that St. Louis is going to have to win this with their defense. Well, they've forced 4 straight misses. Got to get one more.
42 seconds left. Tilly going to work on the smaller Anya. Stewart. No again. Loose basketball. Santa Clara once again maintaining possession. They lead by 3. St. Louis does not have to foul yet.
Get the ball and clear out. Get it to you.
Ooh, Jimerson lost an edge. Ball fouled on the way up.
Jimerson slipped on a wet spot in the floor, and ball just drives, and you rotate so late, you got to foul him at that point. But play happened here nearly at half court when Jimerson slipped on a wet spot.
It was the offensive rebounds that did him in.
It was
the second chance that did him in.
But they're under, man. They're undersized at every position, and you got to rebound.
You don't have your starting center. Your starting center's over there with ice on his ankle.
Santa Clara a +6 on the O-Glass, 15-0 boards to 9 for the Billikens, to Rob's points.
But that's the toughness and the physicality that Coach Schultz talked about now. You still put a body on a body, and you go get the ball. Got to find a way to make plays. And you got to find a way to there's no talent in rebounding. You just got to have a will and a want to go get the basketball.
Yeah, and credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. Santa Clara went out and made those plays.
They absolutely did.
They went out and made those plays. I think it says more about the Broncos than it does about an undermanned Billikens.
Oh, so you coming to my side of things now in the WCC. You see how that goes, Alex?
I'm not going to say that they're going to beat Gonzaga, I was very impressed.
I said they were going to challenge them. And they believe, more importantly, they're going to challenge.
They have the size.
They do.
They have the wings. They have the shooting. They got the star. It's going to come down to Carlos Stewart and
yes,
Brendan Napper.
It is.
I think
those two guys have struggled here tonight. I think they got to get some consistency out of that point guard position.
It is interesting. When Carlos Stewart left, he was a first-team All-WCC guy. Averaged 15 points a game. He goes to LSU. He banged up, hurt his knee, averaged less than 5 points. And I don't know if he's come back the same player. I don't know if he's coming back into the same role. That's a tough situation.
At times what happened is you come back and you're trying to be a point guard. He's a scorer. Mm-hmm. And there's enough talent here to figure that out. And you don't have to be so passive and sacrifice, because being aggressive isn't a switch on the wall. You can be aggressive and just be a basketball player. You drive, help comes, you find an open guy. They don't, you shoot. I think kids sometimes overcomplicate things thinking about what a traditional point guard is or not. If you have a natural gift as a scorer, you just use it and figure out a way. Playing good basketball is just passing to a teammate when you gain an advantage.
Should be said, this is Stewart's first game back from a season-ending knee injury in the SEC opener last year, and some of that rust still showing.
It also should be said that's Randolph Childress saying that scorers should be allowed to get more shots up.
If you're a scorer, shoot it. That's what that's what I was taught. You're telling this to a guy. Shoot Your Shot Productions is this man's firm.
Right.
Ball last touched by Jimerson, but they will take a look at this with 11 seconds to go. A 5-point ball game. Santa Clara inching closer to a big neutral site victory over a fellow mid-major contender in St. Louis.
It's a big play, big call here, because if it's the Broncos' ball, then, in which it is, now you got to foul right away. Officials got it right. They're calling them off quickly, which is one of the rules adjustments I think I like about college basketball now. Now we won't have 100 timeouts under the last minute of the game. The officials made that call quickly now. How many teams can put a 7-footer in half court to help them with their press break as well? I mean, Tilly's been impressive with his overall skill set.
17 points, 8 rebounds for the junior from Berlin. His team closing in on an opening day victory, and there is the foul by Swope, and that is number 5. Isaiah Swope catching fire in the second half, 24 points, 6 threes, 5 assists as well. He kept his team in it.
Yes.
They just could never quite get over the hump and gain the advantage, even though they got within one, tied it up late a couple times. Good resilience by the Santa Clara squad to have an answer, as you said, especially on the offensive end.
They made the plays that they needed to make, right? And at the end of the day, you can say, well, they did it against an undermanned St. Louis team, or Robbie's hurt, or the size, whatever it is. You still got to go out and actually make the plays, even if you have that advantage. And I think it was really impressive they were able to do that. Christoph Tilly, I think, is Adamo Ball is going to be the guy that gets a lot of the credit. And obviously, Cameron Teague was awesome in that first half, but Christoph Tilly is a guy that can make a difference for this team, because he has the size that can match up with any big man in college basketball. And you don't always see that at teams at that Santa Clara level.
Here's a look at the West Coast Conference preseason poll. You see the Broncos picked to finish third behind Gonzaga and St. Mary's. Those two have been to the Big Dance each of the last 3 years. Do we think the WCC is a 3-bid league this year? Or are you saying Santa Clara will overtake likely St. Mary's for that second spot?
I think St. Mary's can make the tournament as well. Augustus Marshall-Lunas has a chance to be. I mean, he was WCC Player of the Year last year, and they will be playing here in the Pentagon later on. I can't get over Wazoo and Oregon State being in the WCC. That's still throwing me off, man. I'm not ready for all that.
And yes, I think that we're seeing in this team, and they're talented enough. They got a guy that can go out and make plays. They have length, they have size. The only question mark is the production from the point guard position.
And look, you know what? We've been a little bit hard on Carlos Stewart tonight. He obviously hasn't shot the ball well. 5 assists.
No, he's been. Yes. I think, and when I say that too, it's you can struggle some, but defensively you got to take the challenge on a guy like Isaiah Swope and defend him and try to control him a little bit as well.
And the damage that Isaiah Swope did, a lot of that came on the switches.
Right.
A lot of that came when he wasn't on the ball.
Carlos Stewart Jr. That is his first point of the afternoon. 0 for 8 from the fields. Now 1 for 1 from the free throw line.
And again, this team has scored 85 points today, so offense isn't the problem. I mean, if they just continue to buy in defensively and
the Broncos with 5 players in double figures. And it's been that kind of day for St. Louis as Jimerson in the corner just cannot hang on. Josh Schertz and company will allow this ball to be played in, and Santa Clara will come away with an opening day victory here in South Dakota. Fittingly, it's Adama Alpha Ball who will hang on to it at the end. 24 points, 4 ball. Tilly with 17. Cameron Tung with 18 off the bench, a bright spot for them as well. Herb Sendek and company 1-0 on the young season with this 7-point victory over the St. Louis Pelicans.
I mean, it was a great matchup. It ended up being a really good game as well. Let's just hope Robbie Avila is healthy. You know, he gets back soon, and you hate to see him go down. You know, the ankle's been bothering him, and you don't want to leave this game thinking about that. But this is a heck of a win by the Santa Clara Broncos.
Here's the big thing that you're going to run into if you're St. Louis here. They're not in the ACC. They're not in the Big East, right? A lot of what they have to do is work in the non-conference to be able to land some wins against a program like Santa Clara. That this is going to be a quad-one opportunity. So the loss doesn't hurt you. Let's make that clear. The loss doesn't hurt you, but it's that you're not going to have as many of these opportunities, and that's the one that's the part of it that's going to end up stinging for St. Louis here. And you can see him; he's walking a little bit. He is putting weight on it. So hopefully, it is not a situation where this is. Hopefully, this is weeks as opposed to months.
Final stats in this one: St. Louis and Santa Clara pretty even in terms of, I mean, just about everything, but some second chance points. Certainly, the bench points, the big difference. No points from the Billikens bench today. They will get Kobe Johnson back certainly sooner than later. You hope for them that Avila's not out for a long time.
You got to figure out a way to get some type of production. That just puts too much pressure on your starters.
Jeff Goodman now standing by with one of the stars for the Broncos, Adama Alpha Ball.
Got to be happy with what he's done, and really impressive to watch what he's done today. I mean, he came out today, got it going early, got his teammates involved. Cameron Tung was huge for these guys in the first half, so they figured things out, and the Billikens responded as well, but just too much foul power.
It's a big win. Like you said it, Rob, a big win for this Santa Clara team.
Yeah, this is going to end up being a win that goes down as a quad one, minimum quad two win. That's part of the reason why they agreed to come play in this game and play Santa Clara. It's a quality victory, a quality opponent.
So the Broncos with the 85-78 win. More to come from Sioux Falls.